Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Phasmophobia. Today we have a weekly challenge, Detectives Only. Put your detective skills to the test, this ghost is giving nothing away. And you have to do this challenge on Edgefield. Now this challenge is not too bad. All it is a zero evidence run. Just a standard zero evidence run, nothing special. You have a board as your cursed item, and you're given tier 1 items except for the headlamp. If you are not comfortable with zero evidence, I will publish a useful cheat sheet resource in the description below. Without further ado, let's get started. Let's see what we're gonna get this time. Alright, here we go. Tier 1. But we get tier 2 headlights, so that's an upgrade, I guess. We got an Ellen Doe, and we're at full sanity. If this is what I think it is, I am going to do it in a couple different ways. I'm assuming this is going to be a zero evidence run. So, I will still check for evidence, but assuming this is a zero evidence run, I am just gonna do the normal zero evidence tests. Let's see what we have for cursed items. We don't have a mirror, no cards, no music box. Do we have a board? We do have a board. Alright. I could ask it where it is, but I'm not gonna ask where it is. I'm just gonna ask how old it is. How old are you? 41. Goodbye. Goodbye. Alright, that interaction photo still works. Now, just because the EMF is not going to give you evidence, it doesn't mean it's useless. In fact, it can still help you in finding the ghost room. Which it appears to be in here. Alright, so now we go grab some more items. Her sanity is at 89. We did ask how old it is. That's just for mimic testing. Not mimic, Fae testing. Now, I am gonna bring in evidence items. Well, we can rule out one ghost. It's not a djinn, because djinns cannot turn off the breaker. And there was definitely not enough lights on for it to turn the breaker off, so no djinn. Now, I am hoping this is going to be a difficult ghost, because that way I can show you what my process is. We have orbs. If this is zero evidence, we're dealing with a mimic. Even though we have zero evidence, it can still give us orbs. And that's because of the orb ability. Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Are you friendly? Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Are you friendly? It turned off the breaker again. Not a very nice ghost, is it? Alright, we will look at the glow stick that's going through the floor, and then turn on the breaker. There we go. Now, you don't have to do these objectives in the weekly challenge. You just have to get the ghost correct. Let's see. Is it going to go below 0? It's still hovering at 1 degree. So, where was it? we're gonna do a hunt, so we can see what kind of ghost we're dealing with. Where's the bone? Basement? Goodbye. Goodbye. So it's gonna drain our sanity by 50%. So we're just gonna wait for it to hunt. And then we'll see what kind of ghost we're dealing with. Normal. Are you a Hantu? The hunts are short. Those are really short hunts. Now, since it's a mimic, it can do any ghost on here. It can even mimic itself. And from what it looked like, it seemed like it was behaving like a Hantu. So it was not speeding up at all. It was somewhat slow, but it wasn't really a threat. Now, another way we can tell it's a mimic. Look at how fast that is. I think that's a they. And yeah, that's another way we can tell it's a mimic. It decided to behave like a completely different ghost. So last hunt, it was really slow, and this hunt, it was pretty fast. So I think that was a unaged they, because it didn't seem like it was speeding up with line of sight. But yeah, you can figure out to mimic in two ways. Orbs on zero evidence, or seeing if behavior changes throughout the hunts. And there we go, we got a mimic. And if we go here, abilities used 11. That means it's changed its ghost type 11 times. So it was going between Hantu, Fae, or whatever on here 11 times. So let's go do that again and see what we get this time. We got an Anthony Moore. Now, I was hoping it wasn't going to be that easy. Oh, that game froze for a sec. I was hoping it wasn't going to be that easy because I wanted to show you all the ways I can do these tests. Okay, so breaker's in the garage. Let's see, we got a bone here. I'll pick that up. It's just a little extra cash. Is it bored every time? It might be. How old are you? 43. Goodbye. Goodbye. And the reason why I'm asking the age is because I want to know if it's aging. And the only ghost that can do that is a Fae. Since as it ages over time, the age increases, and it gets slower over time and hunts at a lower sanity. Now the breaker did just turn on, so it's going to take a while for the temps to increase. So we just gotta check all these other rooms, see if it's getting a little colder. And then, once we find the ghost, we can do our tests. To the basement we go. Are the temps dropping? Yes, they are. You are down here. And look at that. Our paint can is on the floor. Alright. Now let's get some items. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get a crucifix, salt, and candle, because I'm going to start doing a bunch of tests. The crucifix is going to allow me to protect myself, first of all. And second of all, I'm going to use the candles to do an Onryo test. And then I'm going to use the salt to rule out to Wraith, because Wraiths cannot step in salt. That's a ghost vent. And our sanity is pretty high. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rule out Shade, because Shades are unlikely to do ghost vents at high sanity. And it's not a Wraith because it stepped in the salt. Alright. So far, I don't see orbs. So we might be able to rule out Mimic. I'm just going to place the video camera there. And then I'm going to place all these candles right here. And then we'll do our Onryo test. If it blows out all 3 of those candles and it uses the crucifix or starts hunting, it is an Onryo. Because 3 candles will be a guaranteed hunt. Most ghosts would hunt underneath a candle, but Onryos can't hunt when there's candles. And so I have it set up in a way where it can blow out these 3 candles, and if it hunts, then you can see if it's an Onryo. I'm just going to take these salt photos and see when it uses the crucifixes or blows out the candles. That blew out 1 candle. So now we're just kind of waiting a bit. Now unfortunately these are tier 1 candles. It will kind of melt itself away pretty quickly. So we got 2 blowouts so far. It would have been nice if they gave us tier 2 or tier 3 candles, so we don't have to suffer. But they love giving us tier 1 items, so we gotta live with what we got. I do hope it blows it out before it runs out. That would not be fun otherwise. But I think it's gonna melt itself away. Can you do something? Where are you? Are you here? Can you do something? Can you blow out the candle? I don't think it's gonna blow out this last candle on time, which that's unfortunate. I mean, I still have these other candles that I can use. Yeah, this candle melted itself away. So we're going to use the other candles. And this is just kind of a waiting game. It's not doing a whole lot right now. It might be getting warmer, actually. It might have actually changed ghost rooms. Which, if that's the case, then we can rule out Goryo. Because Goryos cannot change ghost rooms at all. Yeah, this candle just melted itself away again. Alright, so I'm gonna check upstairs and see if there's any activity up here. I'm gonna keep this tier 1 thermo down there. I'm gonna check the board. There is activity. Our sanity's still pretty good. I'm gonna get another tier 1 thermo. And see if we can relocate where this ghost is. I guess I could still use the board. And see where it is. But that would be too easy. And also I don't really want to drain my sanity. Did you actually go all the way upstairs? No. You're in the hallway. Alright, so you're in the hallway now. And so I'm gonna place you here. I'm gonna get another candle. If it blows it out one more time, and it does not use a crucifix or hunt, we can rule out on Rio. There, blow out the candle. Now in terms of hiding, we can hide here because it's enough to block the ghost from seeing us. It blew out the candle a third time. I'm going to rule out on Rio. There isn't a whole lot else that we can do in this phase. We can check if there's mimic orbs. But that's probably unlikely because we didn't see them the first time. I turned on too many lights. That was not the ghost, that was just me being a little careless. So we'll turn on the breaker again. So now these other ghosts. I do not see orbs, so I'm going to rule out Mimic. It is hanging out in this area, so you gotta be a little careful. I am going to set up a poltergeist area. And so if it throws a bunch of these items around, then we can say it's a poltergeist, because they're pretty good at throwing. One, two. I already have a third one. Now, Edgefield is not the best map for looping. You only have this couch for looping, and that's it. But it's better than nothing. So I'm gonna enter the hunting phase. If we're dealing with a pretty fast ghost, then we'll find out pretty quickly. Otherwise, then we'll have to do some other tests. So we're going to ask where it is. Where are you? Goodbye. So it's hallway. It's normal speed, normal blinks. It's not throwing a whole lot. Oh, I might be dead. Okay, that was a little sketchy. Alright, let's see where it hunted us at. Alright. Yeah, so any ghost can hunt at that sanity. So it was a normal ghost. So it's no Oni, no Phantom. Phantom would have been very difficult to see. Oni would have been very visible. I did not see a change ghost model, so I'm going to rule out Obake. Not a Revenant because it would have destroyed us. No Hantu because it was normal speed. No Raichu because it's not fast around the electronics. So, now, I'm going to go over here. And we'll see what it does. It wasn't a Poltergeist because it didn't throw the items far enough. I didn't really get a good Jin test in, but it turned off the breaker, so it's not a Jin. Moroi I can't really rule out yet because it seemed like it was normal speed, and my sanity was kind of at 20%, which is around normal speed. Moroi. If it was at 0 sanity, then I would be able to rule it out easily. So right now, I'm just testing for spirit. If it hunts at less than 3 minutes, then it's not a spirit. But if it takes more than 3 minutes to hunt, then it will likely be a spirit. It's doing stuff in the other room. It's hunting now. It's not a spirit. I'm also going to rule out demon. And the reason why I can rule out demon is because it hunted basically beside me in this other room, and the crucifix was left untouched. Now, unfortunately, it's using this quiet ghost sound, which makes it pretty challenging to hear it. So, I'm going to do a yokai test now. And so I'm kind of in this area right here. So if it is a yokai, it will likely not come into this room, but rather go upstairs. It's upstairs now. It's in the basement and it turned on a light. So it came back down here now? Oh yeah, it's back down here now. So for sure no Goryo. It also seemed like it double backed towards me. It's normal speed, so it's not a twin. It's not a Moroi because it's still normal speed. It's not a mare because it turned on a light. So we might be able to figure out what this ghost is. Actually, I'm gonna do the miling test now while I still can. And we'll also do a yokai test as well. Milings are difficult to test on this map because it's very compact. Other maps you can test miling no problem. I might be dead. Okay, we're fine. Alright. It didn't seem like a myling, because I kind of heard it. And it's definitely no yokai, because it found me, no problem. So we're left with Banshee or Yurei. Right now, I'm going to drink all the sanity pills. And we're going to test for Banshee. Now we can test for Banshee pretty easily with a paramic. Actually, I shouldn't say easily, because the Scream is only a 30% chance. But right now it seems like it's in the basement again. Yeah, it's back in the basement. It's turned on this fan. Doesn't mean anything though. I am going to use the motion sensor to track where this ghost is. Okay, it's kind of on top of me now. It's literally right here. So that's a little suspicious. And another ability with myling is it's able to talk on the parabolic much more often than other ghosts. But so far it's not talking on the parabolic at all. So, not great, but not the end of the world. It is a very roamy ghost, and it's pretty inactive too. Let's see, is it still here? It is. We get our first whisper. This is not a good room for testing for Banshee because it's pretty small and it's considered one room and doesn't roam between floors at all. So this is kind of the best that we can do for Banshee. I'm gonna get more motion sensors. I am also going to check my sanity. Yeah, it's at 100%. And these motion sensors will help me track where the ghost is. So we'll place one right here, turned off a light. Let's place one here, and we'll place one here. I'm gonna place the crucifix right there. Okay. We got 2 whispers. It's in the other room now. And it's still in the basement. We turned off the breaker, so we'll turn that back on. There we go. That's what we're looking for. We are dealing with a Banshee. That was a pretty inactive Banshee. Like, it was so inactive, I was getting Shade vibes. Now, we got a Banshee because of that scream there. But also, another way I was able to tell it was kind of a Banshee was because of where it hunted while it was upstairs. Now, it was in here for a little bit, and when I was waiting for it to hunt in here, it was over here. So, because of that, it's a banshee, because it loves to roam towards you. Now, it was a little awkward testing for banshee, especially when its ghost room is in the basement. It's much easier if the map is larger, because you can go from one corner of the map to the other, see if it roams towards you with a motion sensor, and if it does, then you're very likely dealing with the banshee. Other ghosts that can do this kind of roaming or teleporting ability are phantoms and wraiths. It's not a wraith because it stepped in assault, and wraiths can teleport towards you anywhere on the map. Phantoms, they're similar to banshees. They roam towards you less frequently, and during a hunt, they are pretty hard to see. So we're dealing with a banshee. And that's the kind of round I like to see. I love doing these kinds of rounds where I get a hard ghost, so I can show you what my process is for testing all of these different ghosts. So I was basically able to rule out most of these ghosts based on their behaviors, and in the end I was left with one of the tougher ghosts, which I was able to figure out with the paramic. Now, it is much easier to figure it out on a larger map, like High School or Sunny Meadows or even Bleasdale Farmhouse. It's much easier to figure it out on those maps than something like Edgefield, where it's all compact. So we have one more round left. Let's see how we do. This one, I'm going to go a little crazy. So I'm going to go in with a smudge, a lighter, and a crucifix, because I am going to do a hunt test immediately to see if it's anything special. Now, sometimes this is faster, sometimes it's not. And in the last game, it really wouldn't have mattered what I've done. But we'll see. Let's see if we have a board still. We do have a board. So it seems like board is our forced curse possession. So right now I am just going to grab some more items. We'll get a polter pile ready. See if it throws these items like crazy, or if it's fast or slow, or if it's how visible it is, because all these things matter when doing zero evidence. So it seems like it's doing some stuff somewhere in the house. That's fine. Not too worried about that. I am also going to grab another one of these. Actually, no, I'm better off with the salt. We can do a wraith test during a hunt, because ghosts can step in the salt in a said hunt. So now we go a little crazy. We are going to ask where the ghost is. Our sanity is basically full right now, so if it hunts right now, then we can roll out 2 ghosts. Where are you? Small. Blue bedroom. Goodbye. So now we should be just a little below 50. And if it doesn't hunt for a while, we might be dealing with either a shade or a Diogen. It's not a shade or a Dio. speed. Normal blinks. Not a Raichu. Alright. It's not a Wraith because it stepped in Assault. And our Sanity is between 40 but less than 50. So it's not a Shade. I will pick up this bone. It's not a Phantom because it was visible. It was not an Oni because it's not visible enough. It's not an Obake because it didn't change ghost models. It's none of that because it's fast, or it's normal speed. It's not this because Sanity's too high and it didn't pinpoint us. It's not a Wraith because it stepped in Assault. Not a Rev because it's normal speed. Not a Hauntu because it's normal speed. Not a Raichu because it's not fast around electronics. And then Polter, I don't think it threw enough. No. Not really. Alright, it's been 1 minute and 30 seconds. If it hunts now, it's not a Spirit. It's not a Shade because it's not hunting at 35 or lower. I'm also going to rule out Twins because it's normal speed. But so far it's been 2 minutes and 12 seconds and it hasn't hunted yet. Now it's not a Spirit. It's going back into the living room. So yeah, it's not a Spirit because it hunted at 2 minutes. Went through all that salt. Alright. I would be inclined to say it's not a demon because it would have been more likely to hunt below 1 minute and 30. Doesn't mean it's not, but I will rule it out for right now. Since it's coming from upstairs, I am going to do a Myling Yokai test. So we're going to do the same test again. It's hunting now. Not a Myling. Over here. It's not a yokai because it found us. It's not a Myling because it was audible from out there while my flashlight was still just fine. I'm going to do a Moroi test. I'm going to lower my sanity even more. How old are you? 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 Goodbye. So my sanity should be pretty low right now. Yes. That should be very noticeable, seeing what kind of speed it has. We're gonna go over here. Could be a Jin. I will give it a test there. I am going to stand over here to do it. Now my timer is going to be a little off because I started it later. That's okay. We can test the other ghosts. We can rule out Moroi and Jin this hunt. Now, I would have been inclined to say Spirit if it wasn't for that one hunt that was below 3 minutes. But so far, this ghost is doing absolutely... There we go. Still normal speed. Alright. So now I'm going to rule out these. So now we're going to be left with the herder ghosts. Mimic, Onryo's not too bad. I'm going to be dealing with another Banshee or Mare, Yurei, Goryo. These are kind of the more difficult ghosts to figure out. That's okay. Just waiting for my sanity to go as high as possible. There we go. Alright, so next phase, doing an Onryo test. I'm gonna grab a thermo and a video cam because I want to see if it's a mimic first. Are you in here? Yes, you are. It turned off the breaker, so for sure not a Jin. That's the sunrise. I was wondering what that light was. I don't see any orbs, so it's probably no mimic. But we'll double check with the thermometer. We'll bring in more candles. We'll bring in a pyramic as well. So we can test for Banshee again. Let's see, Thermo says it's definitely in here, so I'm going to rule out Mimic. Alright, 1, 2, 3. There we go. We got the 3 candles going. Let's do some activity in there. And in the meantime, we can flick some lights on and off. Test for Mare. I blew out 1 candle. Blew out 3 candles. But no hunt. So, very unlikely to be this. It's not Mimic. So now we're dealing with the harder ones. So we're just seeing if it instantly flips a light off when I turn it on. And if it does, then we're dealing with a Mare. But what I can also do is test for Banshee. And if it's a Banshee, it's going to roam towards my location. So I'm gonna hang out in this room here. Let's see, I do have a hiding spot there, which is good. I can place the motion sensor upside down. Oh, that's suspicious. We might actually have another Banshee. But at least I can show you the process. You're gonna break the light, aren't you? Why? Well, I can still turn on a lamp. And also this light over here. Can I turn this one on? No. Because it's the same room. Okay, the ghost is in this room. Notice how it's going through these motion sensors. So it's in the area. Okay. Now it's here. This is very likely to be a Banshee. Alright, it's going away. Let's go over here this time. I'm gonna turn this light off so I don't pop another light. We're gonna hang out in here. What do I do with my parabolic? There it is. These ghosts are not very generous with their whispers or screams today. I'm just not getting many of those. It's throwing items over there. We have another Banshee. 2 Banshees in a row. And I was able to figure it out with the scream again. And there we go, we have another Banshee. It roamed to me about 41 times, and it stayed in the same room. And that is this week's weekly challenge. If you're looking for what these other ghosts do, Goryo, it does not change ghost rooms ever. So if it's doing a lot of ghost events, or it's wandering around outside of the room, but it will always go back to that same room it started with, you're probably dealing with a Goryo. So if it ever changes rooms at any point, not a Goryo. Ure is kind of more annoying than a Goryo because it's all dependent on whether they do a double door touch or not, or slam a door close. And then Mares, if you get one, it'll hunt at 60% sanity in the dark, but 40% sanity in the light. And also it has a chance of immediately turning off a light switch as soon as you turn it on when you're near a mare. And other than that, these other ghosts are relatively simple. Shade is very inactive, and it should not hunt in the same room as you. But sometimes that's a little bugged. And then, and a lot of these other ghosts are dependent on speed or visibility or what their sanity is or what their smudge timer is. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you all enjoyed, and until then, I'll see you next time. Have a good one.